You're looking there at Cuban world champion Pedro Reyes, the reigning world champion. I think a little bit tall in that 5'4.5", and at 29 years of age, the oldest member of this Cuban squad.
From Minneapolis, Minnesota.
His opponent today is Arthur Johnson, Minneapolis, Minnesota, who's been the outstanding United States fighter, 112 pounds for 3 years, but he has yet to break through and really establish himself in the world class, Don.
Well, Arthur Johnson, a three-time United States champion, won a Goodwill Games gold medal, so he's had plenty of experience internationally. In against the man who heads this Cuban team, certainly in experience and world stature, Pedro Reyes. And he's boxing Johnson is off a very tough decision against Michael Carbajal a few minutes ago here. Gives the Cubans an 8-1 edge, not an edge, 8-1 dominance.
And their 15th straight victory in dual meets. Reyes will pick. You see he's at the southpaw on the left of your screen. He'll pick with that right jab. He's the classic amateur boxer, just wants to score points. Arthur Johnson, in becoming the first man to win 3 consecutive U.S. amateur titles, really has disdained the jab. He's a power puncher. He comes in winging hard punches with both hands, has a really solid left hook. He's coming off an operation to his right hand in January, and whether he babies it or not, we'll wait and see. Kept him from defending his title for an unprecedented 4th straight time.
And with Johnson, we'd best keep our heads up because he's studying television broadcasting.
Come on.
We told you at the top of the show that stop, box, and break were the 3 commands. You just heard a come on. Caution for the American referee to the Cuban boxer.
It's okay to ad-lib once in a while. I get kind of bored of those 3.
And again, we see the Cubans have not really done very well in taping their boxers, as the tape comes clean from Reyes' right glove.
You saw a good right hand just preceding that from Arthur Johnson. Halfway in the first round.
Because Arthur Johnson had hurt his right hand, he's said that he's worked more on his left jab. But as you saw in that exchange, when he gets into toe-to-toe, he really likes to throw power punches and not just point-scoring jabs.
Yeah, he's more comfortable finally with the right, but you can understand how it would take a while before he does get back to using it, but is again. And here is the Cuban coach for a quarter of a century or more.
Really an amazing man. When you dissect the greatness of this Cuban team, he really deserves an awful lot of credit.
You go back to the American wins over the Cubans in Montreal, the Olympics of '76. He was in his 13th year by then as the coach of the Cuban team.
Oh, my goodness gracious. The first time that I don't believe there was a caution against the Cuban boxer for low blows. That was a warning and a recommendation by the American judge, by the American referee Bob Wimberly of Paterson, New Jersey, that a point be deducted. And then when you have 2 outstanding boxers in the ring like these 2, that could be a very, very big point.
Cubans in an earlier bout were warned about an open glove, but nothing along these lines of a low blow. 15 seconds to go in the first round.
You do have the right to take away a point by a warning. You do not have to give 3 cautions, but it's very unusual to see one that quickly.
All right, round number 1 winding down. Stay with us. Don Chevrier with Alex Wallow back with you for the second round of the Arthur Johnson-Pedro Reyes bout here in the CUBA-US meet. The Cubans dominate 8-1. A tough decision against Michael Carbajal. I thought he deserved to win the bout. It went to the Cuban Marcelo. Timothy Little's the only American winner over Jose Luis Hernandez by a 2-1 margin earlier. So Cubans have won their 15th consecutive dual meet, but still hopes survive here for an American victory or 2 as this match closes out.
I thought Pedro Reyes won the first round of this bout, Don. He was just busier, and Arthur Johnson waited too much. But with that 1-point deduction, that could have been an even round.
How much does Reyes skip from the judges just on sheer respect in terms of being a world champion and so dominant?
Once again, that's very difficult to say. Hopefully, a judge, when he looks at the bout, judges on what's going on in the ring and not on somebody's resume.
Well, I'm not sure they did in the Carbajal fight.
That was a very nice move there by Arthur Johnson. You saw him score with the left and then duck under the counter punch by Reyes coming back.
Johnson was not undone by the fact he was facing a fighter of Reyes' caliber. He's very confident coming in, as you know, telling us last night.
Arthur Johnson almost never blocks a punch. He always slips punches, so that puts him in a position to counter punch. He has not been doing that with much regularity here today.
Reyes really, by all accounts, should not be fighting today. This is his 12th wedding anniversary. And here he is in Atlantic City. He has never lost to the United States in dual meets, looking for his 4th consecutive win here.
This is his 8th trip to the United States, Don, including the dual meets and the North American Championships and the World Championships he's been to.
His victories include those over Steve McCrory and Michael Collins, a couple of name U.S. amateurs. So he's giving Johnson all he can handle here in the 2nd round.
He's not blowing him away. I mean, he's the reigning world champion. He's 29. He's got tremendous experience. There's Pedro Reyes on the right of your screen here. He's not blowing Johnson out of the fight, but I don't think he's let him into it yet either.
Well, Johnson tried to back him up. He's paying a price. He's catching a lot coming in from Reyes.
A little bit less movement from Reyes here. He's standing his ground a little bit more, pushing Johnson back. I thought Johnson had the superior power. In this kind of exchange, I would think Johnson would dominate, but he is not as yet.
Reyes still banging very, very hard, waiting in with the left hand now as the seconds wind down to the end of round 2. The 3rd and final round for Arthur Johnson of the United States and world champion Pedro Reyes of Cuba. Johnson desperately trying to get the Americans a 2nd win. On the surface, this team doesn't look that strong right now, but how do you see it, Alex, the American team?
Well, I think right now at this stage, obviously the Cubans are dominating at the dual meet level as they have throughout their career. The Americans always seem to be able, in an Olympic year, to have some people come out of the woodwork. I mean, even a name like Evander Holyfield wasn't even supposed to be on the U.S. Olympic team.
He is here today, by the way.
That's right, and he went forward, was only won the bronze in Los Angeles, but went on to become obviously such an outstanding talent. And that happens, that will happen in the Olympic trials in July. People that we've never heard of, we've never seen these dual meets, have not necessarily participated in the U.S. ABF program, will come out of the woodwork and be forces to be reckoned with on the United States team. But they're going to need to improve substantially between now and then, even without the Cubans. There's Evander Holyfield, the undisputed cruiserweight, junior heavyweight champion of the world.
And some say the man with the best chance to someday down the road challenge Mike Tyson as he develops as a heavyweight.
Arthur Johnson inherited Evander Holyfield's mantle as the quietest member of the United States squad. Both men of very few words.
Although Carbajal might challenge him for that. Well, Johnson thought coming in he was too strong for the Cuban. Again, disregarding almost the reputation of Reyes. But Reyes has proved a very tough customer, especially on the infighting, as it continues now in this 3rd round, midway through.
Pedro Reyes is a world champion, and he's really fighting like one. He's just doing little subtle things, not letting Arthur Johnson get set, making him move around, not letting him set his feet, get off the power.
Down goes Johnson. He hit him with a ton of bricks with the left hand. He was wide open for it. A long look from the referee, and for now he'll let it continue as Reyes pours in all over him again. Reyes came out of nowhere.
Yeah, Reyes deserved that little bit of showboating he did right there. He scored a sensational knockdown against a quality boxer. Another standing 8 count. Oh,
no, just a caution for an open glove. Which again buys more time that Johnson appreciates.
Arthur Johnson coming forward. 40 seconds left in the bout. Arthur Johnson, remember in theory that punch counts only as much as a good stiff jab. My experience has been that that's nonsense. That,
of course it is.
That kind of a spectacular knockdown is taken in a tremendous account by the people scoring the fight.
It has to impress you. If you're human, you're a judge. It has to impress you. It affects your scoring. 20 seconds to go on the bout, but I think Johnson is so far behind anyway, it may not matter. At least not out of it, but behind on points to Reyes.
Give Arthur Johnson credit. He is boxing back here, trying to fight back. Ooh, he just laced this man twice there on the break, and yet does not get any caution from Bob Wimberly, the American referee. He should have been cautioned. He was hitting on the break. And hitting
There
after
is
the bell.
The bell, the way that they want to continue. They don't want to let it go. So we will have the decision between Reyes and Johnson from Atlantic City right after this. Arthur Johnson got caught in the third round against Pedro Reyes, and they await the decision here now. Let's have one look at the punch that dropped him, who's a dandy.
Just watch the Reyes left hand. Reyes with his back to you. Watch Arthur Johnson's right. Reyes rears back in his left, gets all his power behind it. A little bit of a delayed reaction as Johnson's legs go stiff and he goes down.
To his credit, though, he recovered well. He finished the bout. Here's the
Ladies and
decision.
gentlemen, the winner of this contest with a score of 2-1 in the red corner, Pedro Reyes.
Reyes wins another one for Cuba. Not that they need it. Their lead now is 9-1. More boxing a little later on from Atlantic City. But right now, let's go back to New York and join Frank Gifford.